The film opens by showing the history of the samurai's disappearance from battle, which all began during the Boshin War. At that time, one of the best samurai named Shujiro Saga successfully won the war after beheading the opposing leader at his headquarters. He announced the victory to all his troops, signifying the end of the war. However, shortly after, dozens of bombs were launched to kill all the celebrating soldiers. Only Shujiro managed to survive the incident. Years later, Shujiro lives in trauma and has abandoned the world of the samurai. Following the war, the samurai didn't receive a decent life. Many lived miserably in poverty, including Shujiro. After waking up from a nightmare, Shujiro finds that the illness suffered by his wife and child is worsening day by day. Shujiro's wife, Shino, and his daughter, Rin, are known to suffer from a disease due to a cholera epidemic spreading in several rural areas in Japan. Shujiro, who has no money to buy medicine, intends to sell his katana at the village pawnshop. However, upon arrival, the dealer is uninterested because the government had recently passed a decree abolishing the katana, rendering the item useless. As a result, Shujiro returns home carrying only salt and sugar he received from the dealer. Outside, Shujiro sees a flyer advertising a martial arts tournament with a prize of 100 billion yen. The tournament will be held at the Tenryuji Temple in Kyoto. Upon arriving home, Shujiro is devastated to see Rin dying and eventually passing away. Rin's death strengthens Shujiro's resolve to participate in the tournament to get money to save his wife and the people in his village from the cholera epidemic. Long story short, Shujiro finally arrives in Kyoto. Before going to Tenryuji Temple, Shujiro visits his old friend, Yahei Dono. Yahei confirms the rumor about the martial arts tournament that will be held tonight. He is sure that many talented samurai will participate in the tournament, so he asks Shujiro to be careful. At night, Shujiro visits the Tenryuji Temple. The temple is strictly guarded by soldiers in black uniforms. Inside, 292 samurai from all corners of Japan are present. Shortly after, a representative from the organizer named Enju opens the tournament event. Before the tournament begins, Enju displays a pot filled with gold coins to prove that the 100 billion yen prize is not an empty promise. Enju then gives 30 seconds for anyone who wishes to withdraw from the tournament, warning that once the tournament begins, there will be no turning back. Unexpectedly, among the participants is a police officer named Ando who has infiltrated the event. He asks Enju to stop the event because it violates government regulations related to the katana abolition decree. Ando then runs, intending to kill Enju, but he is instantly killed, his head severed. This shocks and terrifies the participants, signaling that their lives are at stake. Afterward, Enju announces the first game, which is called Kodoku. In the Kodoku game, participants are provided with a wooden tag inscribed with their respective names. They must then pass through every gate across 7 provincial cities, with the final destination being Tokyo. To pass through each gate, participants must have enough points, which they acquire by killing other participants. The wooden tag signifies the number of points. 1 wooden tag equals 1 point. To exit the temple, they need 2 points, meaning participants must kill at least 1 other participant to pass the first gate. Later, to pass the final gate in Tokyo, the participants must have 30 points. The participants are then forbidden to discuss this game with anyone, and they only have a maximum time limit of 1 month to reach Tokyo. Once the game starts, participants are not allowed to withdraw because there will be guards stationed along the way. If the necklace worn by the participants comes off, they will be instantly killed within 10 seconds. This is immediately proven when some participants remove their necklaces and try to leave the game. After the rules are explained, the Kodoku game finally begins. As soon as the game starts, chaos ensues, and participants begin to kill each other. Among the hundreds of participants, Shujiro can only stand silent because the situation reawakens his trauma from the Boshin War. His hands tremble, and he feels unable to draw his katana. In the midst of the chaos, Shujiro's attention is drawn to a girl named Futaba Katsuki. Futaba reminds Shujiro of his late daughter, causing him to snap out of his trance and move to save her. Up to that moment, Shujiro still hasn't drawn his katana and only tries to avoid attacks. He and Futaba then try to escape the temple together. Amidst the ongoing chaos, a samurai named Ukyo Kikuomi becomes the first participant to exit the temple after showing his 2 wooden tags. Unexpectedly, the deadly game is used as entertainment by the wealthy, who monitor the chaos like a show from a distance. Returning to Shujiro, he tries to retrieve Futaba's wooden tag, which was snatched by another participant. A shooter counts down to 10 while aiming at Futaba, but fortunately, Shujiro manages to put the wooden tag back on just before the time runs out. Shujiro and Futaba's struggle continues. After falling from a wooden tower, they hide inside a building. There, Shujiro gives Futaba 1 wooden tag he obtained so she can exit the temple. Shortly after, they are met by someone named Kyojin Suge. Kyojin seems to know Shujiro and his nickname, Kokushu, the Killer. Before leaving, Kyojin gives Shujiro 1 name tag and says that if he wants to survive this game, Shujiro must start killing. With the 1 name tag given by Kyojin, Shujiro and Futaba successfully escape the temple, showing the 2 name tags they each possess. After exiting the temple, Shujiro and Futaba are again confronted by another samurai named Bukotsu Kanjiya. Up to that moment, the organizer of the deadly tournament is unknown. What is certain is that he held the tournament to pit the samurai against each other as the easiest way to exterminate them all. It is recorded from the chaos that occurred in the temple that out of 292 participants, 128 finally managed to pass the first gate safely. The scene then shifts to show Futaba's life before joining the tournament. It is revealed that she and her mother cared for orphans suffering from the cholera epidemic. In the midst of their efforts to help the children, Futaba's mother also contracted the disease. This prompts Futaba to desperately join the tournament to get money to save her mother and the orphans. Returning to the fight between Shujiro and Bukotsu, Bukotsu forces Shujiro to draw his katana. Although hesitant, Shujiro finally draws his katana for the first time after years of living in trauma. Shortly after, Futaba arrives on horseback to save Shujiro from Bukotsu, and they flee together. That night, the 2 rest at Yahai's house. There, Futaba thanks Shujiro for saving her. Shujiro then tells Futaba to quit the game, but Futaba refuses. No matter what, Futaba must get the prize money to save her mother. A moment later, Kyojin returns to meet Shujiro. This time he comes with an offer for them to cooperate. Instead of focusing on the prize, Kyojin is interested in the secret behind the tournament. He is curious who the organizer is and what his main purpose is for doing all this. After observing the route of each gate leading to Tokyo and the comparison of the number of participants, Kyojin calculates that a maximum of 9 participants will pass through to Tokyo. With that, he offers a collaboration so that the 3 of them can be part of the 9 people who make it to Tokyo. Kyojin then gives Shujiro time to consider his offer. If interested, Shujiro can meet him at the Uzuya Inn on the 3rd night. The next day, the Minister of Home Affairs in Tokyo holds a meeting regarding the flyers about the tournament in Kyoto. One of the people attending the meeting is the director of the Domestic Police Bureau named Kawaji. In the meeting, the Minister of Home Affairs mandates the Domestic Police Bureau to investigate the case immediately, fearing that all this will again trigger a civil war like the Boshin War that occurred 10 years ago. On the other side, Bukotsu confronts Ukyo Kikuomi. At the beginning of the fight, Ukyo has the upper hand because Bukotsu tends to fight with overwhelming anger. A little backstory on Ukyo's life as a samurai reveals that for years he served to protect the palace nobles. But after the glory of the samurai faded, he was abandoned. This was the unfortunate fate faced by the samurai in Japan at that time. Previously glorious and respected, they were simply discarded after the katana abolition decree was passed. Returning to the fight, Ukyo manages to gain an advantage and corner Bukotsu. Just as Ukyo is about to kill him, Bukotsu bites off Ukyo's thumb. This makes it difficult for Ukyo to hold his katana, so in a short time, Bukotsu manages to turn the tables. This is proven by Bukotsu proudly walking away carrying Ukyo's severed head. On the other side, Shujiro and Futaba finally continue their journey. Along the way, they find several participants who are desperate and choose to quit the game. As soon as they remove their necklaces, the guards immediately execute them all. The incident again triggers Shujiro's trauma from the Boshin War. Unconsciously, this awakens Shujiro's spirit as Kokushu the Killer. In an instant, Shujiro manages to finish off all the guards there. The scene then shifts to show Shujiro's past. Shujiro grew up in the Kyohachi-ryu school with 7 others. They practiced the katana very hard and lived together like siblings. But one day, the master announces that the Kyohachi-ryu will be passed on to one successor, meaning they are asked to kill each other and forget the fact that they are brothers and sisters. Unable to face that reality, Shujiro decides to run away from the school and leave his 7 siblings. Returning to the present, the elites who were previously monitoring the game are invited to a place for gambling. There, they can enjoy the atmosphere while gambling and betting on who will be the first participant to pass the next gate. This time, Shujiro and Futaba traverse a path to reach the next gate. In the middle of the mountain path, they are confronted by twin samurai named Naoto Yoshida and Shoji Yoshida. Shujiro tries to protect Futaba because she is considered an easy target by them. The two manage to escape after falling together. They then continue their journey, and this time Shujiro is attacked by one of his fellow school siblings named Iroha. Iroha has been looking for Shujiro for a long time. She is upset because Shujiro heartlessly abandoned her and the other siblings that night. Before Iroha can vent her emotions, the twin samurai return to surround them. Just as they are about to fight, a group of archer samurai suddenly kills the twin samurai. Shujiro, Futaba, and Iroha try to flee, avoiding the shower of arrows attacking them. Finally, the 3 of them are saved by an archer samurai named Kamui Kocha. Kamui Kocha saves them because he has no intention of killing children and considers the murder of children to be the greatest crime. So, as long as Futaba is with them, Kamui Kocha will not attack. After that incident, Iroha decides to join Shujiro because her business with him is not yet finished. Meanwhile, the investigation into the martial arts tournament gets the latest development. Police Bureau Director Kawaji reports some evidence in the form of bloodstains and pieces of human body parts around Kyoto. In addition, it is known that the actions of the Shizoku, or samurai, are starting to move from Kyoto with the final destination of Tokyo. Kawaji assesses that what the samurai are doing is considered a rebellion against the government. Because of this, the ministers finally agree to continue the investigation and find out the source of the weapons and who is the mastermind behind all this. Returning to Shujiro and the others, they finally manage to pass the next gate with 3 wooden tags each. The 3 wooden tags are then replaced with a red wooden tag worth 3 points. That night, they go to meet Kyojin at the designated inn. With Kyojin's strategy skills, he is the first person to pass the gate because he knows which route is safer to take. There, Shujiro decides to form an alliance with Kyojin. Shujiro realizes the Kodoku game means 3 insects, where the term is taken from the fight of 100 insects until the 3 best insects are obtained. Reflecting on this term, Shujiro realizes that he needs an alliance to increase his chances of survival. In addition, they will also investigate the secret behind all this so they don't have to kill each other. After that, Shujiro and Iroha finally get a chance to talk about their issues. There, Shujiro asks what happened at the school after he left that night. Because Shujiro ran away, the master feared that the knowledge of the Kyohachi-ryu would leak, so he tried to kill them all. One of them, named Ikanasan, then fought the master so that the others could escape. Since then, they have all been separated, and Iroha lives in fear of being hunted by someone called Gentosai. Iroha blames Shujiro as the cause of all these events. Because of this, Shujiro sincerely apologizes to Iroha and feels very grateful to be able to meet her again. Meanwhile, Gentosai, who has been hunting the students of the Kyohachi-ryu all this time, is also participating in the tournament while continuing to hunt Shujiro, Iroha, and the others. The next day, Kawaji brings a report on weapon smuggling sent from England to Yokohama. Several people involved in the shipment are identified. Among them are Mitsui, Sumitomo, Yasuda, and Mitsubishi. These 4 are known to be the 4 major powerful families who support the Meiji government. The scene shifts to Iroha's past, where she worked as a knife thrower. She took this job after successfully escaping a duel that forced students of the Kyohachi-ryu fighting style to kill one another. Iroha then met a fellow surviving Kyohachi-ryu student. Their conversation revealed that their master, Gentosai, had killed 2 students for running away from the duel, while 2 other students had become soldiers. The student speaking with Iroha was now working as a rickshaw puller to support his wife and child. This same conversation also revealed that Gentosai was still hunting the remaining Kyohachi-ryu students. Iroha finally stated that Gentosai could be stopped if all surviving students were willing to unite to fight him. Returning to the present, Okubo, the Minister of Home Affairs, was listening to the latest investigation report on the Kodoku game. Authorities confirmed that the hundreds of English rifles used for Kodoku were ordered by Zaibatsu, a nickname for the 4 conglomerates previously known to have ordered weapons from England. It was now suspected that Zaibatsu was the organizer of Kodoku. If proven true, Kawaji believed Zaibatsu had committed a very serious crime, as Kodoku was considered a slaughter of the participating samurai. Another suspicion was that Zaibatsu wanted to exterminate the samurai because they were tired of their extortion. Meanwhile, Kyojin outlined 2 strategies to uncover the true purpose of Kodoku and the organizer's identity. The first strategy involved capturing a participant with a wooden tag alive and handing them over to the police. The purpose was to test whether the Kodoku supervisor dared to fight the police to execute an escaped or rule-breaking participant. The second strategy was to find out the location where the participants' bodies were hidden, a plan that confirmed Kodoku was being held in secret to avoid legal trouble. Kyojin stressed that both strategies required the cooperation of Shujiro, Futaba, and Iroha. Afterward, Shujiro's group visited a tea house. While relaxing, they realized some of the customers were Kodoku participants. Soon, a wealthy participant, whom we will call Taro, appeared. Taro attempted to buy Shujiro's group's wooden tags. To achieve his mission, Taro ordered the people in the tea house to seize the group's tags. They fought with all their might, as Taro had promised a lot of money to anyone who succeeded in taking the wooden tags. In the end, Shujiro's group managed to defeat all of Taro's men. Afterward, Kyojin interrogated Taro and a Kodoku participant named Shinosuke. The results revealed that Shinosuke wanted the Kodoku cash prize to help his father's business. Surprisingly, Shinosuke had never killed a single participant because he did not want to take another person's life. Shinosuke was able to collect points by picking up wooden tags that had fallen from their original owners. Kyojin made Shinosuke an ally, judging him to be a good and honest person. Kyojin then chose Taro as the participant to be handed over to the police because he deserved to be punished for his actions. Returning to Minister Okubo, he received the latest report on the Kodoku investigation. It turned out that the Kodoku staff communicated through telegram, with every message encrypted with a cipher. After tracking, the authorities confirmed that the Kodoku messages were sent from a telegraph office near the slopes of Mount Fuji. At Okubo's command, Kawaji was immediately dispatched to inspect the office as part of the investigation. On the other side, Bukotsu was resting in the middle of the city, observing the situation. Bukotsu found the archer samurai, Kamui, and asked for Shujiro's location. However, Kamui deliberately gave false information because he had promised to protect Shujiro as long as Shujiro protected Futaba. Bukotsu finally killed a civilian to provoke Kamui's emotions. A fierce fight ensued, terrifying the citizens. As the timing was right, a Kodoku supervisor arrived to bring Bukotsu and Kamui under control. They both stopped fighting and left to avoid being shot by the supervisor. Meanwhile, Kyojin tailed 2 Kodoku supervisors disguised as police officers. The 2 supervisors entered the police station where Taro was detained and secretly killed him in his cell. On the other side, Shujiro implemented Kyojin's strategy by pretending to be dead. As Kyojin expected, a Kodoku supervisor took Shujiro to the place where the participants' bodies were hidden. Iroha and Futaba followed the supervisor to uncover the location. They were finally forced to stop when they realized the place was a bank. Time continued until Shujiro managed to eliminate the supervisor working at the bank. Shujiro could now conclude that the bank was a front to hide the bodies of the Kodoku participants. Soon after, an influential supervisor named Sakura caught sight of Shujiro. It turned out that Sakura was Shujiro's comrade-in-arms during the Boshin War, known as the Last War of the Samurai. Due to differences in interests and mindset, Shujiro had to prepare to fight Sakura. At the same time, Kawaji finally arrived at the telegraph office to be inspected. Kawaji then met Zaibatsu at the location. Surprisingly, Kawaji was actually the organizer of Kodoku, while Zaibatsu was the financier of the game. Kawaji then reminded Zaibatsu that Kodoku was a major project to exterminate the samurai for the good of the country. The story then reverts to the Boshin War during the samurai era. As we know, Shujiro and his fellow samurai were suddenly massively attacked after winning a battle. It turned out that the mastermind of the attack that killed many samurai was Kawaji, even though Shujiro's samurai forces were Kawaji's allies. Returning to the present, Kawaji continued his conversation with Zaibatsu. Apparently, since the samurai era ended, Kawaji viewed the samurai as rebels who threatened the country's security. Kawaji held this view because he believed the samurai would be angered when the ban on using katanas was enforced. On the other side, Zaibatsu hated the samurai because they could not pay off their debts. The problem was that the samurai faced a financial crisis and had difficulty finding work due to the katana ban. Meanwhile, Kyojin began fighting the two Kodoku supervisors. It turned out that the participant killed by the supervisors in the cell was originally named Akayama. After dodging his opponent's attacks, Kyojin quickly fled because his disguise as a police officer was finally exposed. With a struggle, Kyojin managed to escape with Shinosuke. At the same time, Shujiro fought fiercely against Sakura. While the fight was still ongoing, Iroha launched a diversionary attack, allowing Shujiro to escape with her. Afterward, Shujiro's group gathered to discuss their findings. It turned out that the two Kodoku supervisors who killed Akayama and attacked Kyojin were actual police officers. This truth proved that every Kodoku supervisor was an officer of the Central Police Bureau. The existence of the bank used to hide participants' bodies also proved Zaibatsu's involvement. Kyojin believed that Zaibatsu's funds were used to cover up the participants' deaths. Shujiro's group now wondered who the Kodoku organizer really was, and what would happen when the participants reached Tokyo, the final destination of the game. Meanwhile, Okubo and a staff member named Nagase discussed Kawaji. It turned out that Kawaji held the rank of Inspector General and was the head of the Japanese Police Bureau. Kawaji was also known to have connections with Zaibatsu. According to a message sent by Kawaji, Nagase reported that Kawaji found nothing at the telegraph office. Okubo already knew Kawaji was a traitor since he found clues about Kawaji's involvement in Kodoku. However, until that moment, Okubo and his staff did not know Kawaji's role as the organizer. The next day, Shujiro visited a nearby telegraph office owned by Narumi. Shujiro asked for permission to use the telegram alone for Narumi's safety. Once permitted, Shujiro sent a telegram message to Okubo. The message was answered by Majima, Okubo's trusted aide. Shujiro promised to provide more detailed Kodoku information on the condition that Majima would provide protection for Futaba, who was considered weak and vulnerable. Majima then invited Shujiro to meet at a determined location and time so that Majima could decide on Futaba's protection. As time passed, Nagase successfully broke the Kodoku telegram cipher. The message exposed Kawaji's involvement in the game. Nagase then went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building to report his discovery to Okubo. However, during the journey, Nagase was secretly killed by a rogue police officer who was a Kodoku supervisor. The next day, Shujiro's group arrived at the participant wooden tag checkpoint. It turned out that the point totals for Shujiro, Futaba, Iroha, and Kyojin exceeded the target. Meanwhile, Shinosuke's point total was below the target. After passing the checkpoint, Futaba was saddened to see Shinosuke's fate, as he would soon be executed for lacking points. Influenced by Futaba's attitude, the supervisor accidentally leaked the information that the maximum number of participants who could reach Tokyo was 9 people. Soon after, Futaba gave her wooden tag to Shinosuke because her points had exceeded the target. Touched by Futaba's kindness, Shujiro and the others also did the same. As a result, Shinosuke was able to continue the game because his point total met the target. Shujiro's group now decided to split up because Kyojin believed he and Shinosuke were now fugitives due to their actions at the police station. That night, Kyojin and Shinosuke found 2 men named Jion and Adachi. For some reason, Kyojin knew Jion and Adashi's status as Kyohachi Ryu students. Next, we are shown Bukotsu's past. During the samurai era, Bukotsu and Shujiro had met. Just like Shujiro, Bukotsu was a highly skilled killer samurai. Bukotsu challenged Shujiro to a duel to gain personal satisfaction by fighting a very strong samurai. Although he defeated Bukotsu, Shujiro ultimately chose not to kill him. Since then, Bukotsu was determined to continue hunting Shujiro so he could fight again for revenge. After the samurai era ended, Bukotsu was imprisoned for carrying out uncontrolled massacres. While Bukotsu was serving his sentence, Sakura came to tell him about Kodoku. From there, Bukotsu decided to become a participant so he could act as a samurai again. Soon after, Bukotsu managed to escape by killing the cell guards. Returning to the present, Okubo recalled his argument with Kawaji. Kawaji had asked Okubo for permission to execute the remaining samurai with rifles, as Kawaji believed they would stage a rebellion that endangered the country. However, Okubo refused to grant permission for humanitarian reasons. Instead, Okubo created the ban on using katanas to address the samurai threat. After recalling the debate, Okubo prepared for a meeting with Kawaji to discuss the future of the police force. Sometime later, Shujiro, Iroha, and Futaba took time to watch a festival. At the same time, Kyojin informed Adachi and Jian about Iroha's and Gentosai's location. The two men rushed to find Iroha to save her from Gentosai's attack. A few minutes later, Iroha tried to escape Gentosai without Shujiro's knowledge. While hunting Iroha, Gentosai killed a civilian who obstructed him. Iroha finally agreed to fight after successfully leading Gentosai to a secluded area. Adachi and Jian appeared when Iroha was overwhelmed by Gentosai. Although Adachi and Jian worked together, they still failed to defeat Gentosai because the swordsman was too strong. Adachi then tried to distract Gentosai, allowing Iroha and Jian to escape. After injuring Gentosai with a high-level technique, Adachi quickly fled and caught up with Iroha. Meanwhile, at the festival, Bukatsu finally found Shujiro. Bukatsu held Futaba hostage so that Shujiro would fight with full strength. With his skill, Shujiro managed to save Futaba and injure Bukatsu's arm. Although weakened, Bukatsu was still capable of fighting with deadly attacks. When the fight moved to a fireworks storage area, Shujiro's and Bukatsu's attacks led to a fire. After all the fireworks exploded, Shujiro and Bukatsu fled while being burned alive. They then managed to extinguish the fire on their bodies with a nearby river. When the fight turned into a clash of attack speed, Shujiro managed to slash Bukatsu, severely wounding him. Before dying, Bukatsu expressed his satisfaction at being able to fight Shujiro to the bitter end. Time continued until Okubo began heading to the meeting location with Kawaji. While in a secluded area, Okubo's horse-drawn carriage suddenly stopped because the coachman was killed by Sakura. Under Kawaji's command, Sakura finally killed Okubo. Meanwhile, Iroha was recovering with Adachi and Jian. They realized that their lives would never be peaceful as long as Gentosai continued to hunt them. Because of this, Iroha's group agreed to find other Kyohachi-ryu students so they could work together to stop Gentosai. On the other side, Kyojin, still with Shinosuke, met Gentosai. It turned out that Kyojin had secretly been Gentosai's ally all this time. The proof is that Gentosai found Iroha thanks to information from Kyojin. The public was then shocked by the news that Minister of Home Affairs Okubo was a victim of murder. Afterward, Meijima's envoy came to inform Shujiro that Meijima had canceled their meeting due to unforeseen problems. While continuing his journey, Shujiro briefly saw Kawaji without knowing Kawaji's identity or actions. Shifting to Zaibatsu, they received a routine report on the list of recently deceased participants. Zaibatsu was now becoming more curious about the progress of the Kodoku game because the remaining participants were strong people. And the series finally ends. So, what did you think of the movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.